And we are back with Tommy Hicks and some sports, but you have some news that is adjacent to this redistricting issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sports adjacent. Even that is getting into the sports
even
world.
That's getting that. I mean,
So how did somehow sports work its way into this?
And now we've jumped over here.
Yes.
Yes.
How's this going? What happened?
Well, on the election day, redistricting, on the 16th, on election day, will also be the day that the Mobile Sports Hall of Fame inducts its class of 2026 at the First Light Community Football Preview show. It's a whole long line.
It's a long, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. But the 4 inductees this year are Derek Coleman, Derek Burrows, Joe Nyland, and Eric Yelding. Well,
2 Dereks and Eric and a Joe.
2 Dereks and Eric and a Joe.
Okay.
So we received word yesterday that Derek Coleman, who was born here, grew up in Detroit, was a first-round draft pick in basketball, had a long NBA career, played for Syracuse in college. He was scheduled to make an appearance, but now he has declined that, and has used the recent Supreme Court ruling and the redistricting of the voting areas in the state as the reason why he's not coming.
So he's protesting. In other words,
he is protesting he said we are living history all over again. The Supreme Court has weakened the Voting Rights Act, and the fight for our voice, and our future remains under attack.
Well, all right. So, he's not showing up.
So he's not showing up. He will be inducted, but he will not.
No soup for him? No, he still gets his soup.
He still gets his soup.
All right. Okay. Well, all right. He's still in. All right. Let's and then we'll move on to happier subjects. So we've got a pretty good recruiting class here in football.
Yeah, I mean, people have known about this area for years and years of turning out talent, and this year's certainly not going to disappoint anybody. According to 24/7 Sports, which really does all this recruiting evaluations of players, 4 of the top 5 players in the recruiting class of 2027 are all from this area, including the top 3.
Wow!
So we've got
that's pretty good.
Number 1 is quarterback Gunnar Rivers. We've probably heard
with
about
a bullet.
Him from St. Michael.
He might as well just get drafted right now by the NFL. I think he's pretty much a shoe-in, right?
He's a shoe-in. Number 2 is linebacker Isaac McNeil of Viger, who just this week committed to Auburn. Nice. Now Rivers is going to NC State, where his father went.
He's walking his dad's footsteps.
Yep. Following him all the way to the NFL, I would imagine.
Probably.
Number 3 right now is Edge Jabarius Guerrer of Viger. Okay. He's been committed a couple of times, but I think he's decommitted. He's still waiting on more offers, which he will get plenty of. And then at number 5 is Jalen Scott, a safety for Williamson, who has committed to Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
We actually have 2 Oklahoma commits this year. Jameson Roberts, the quarterback at Saraland, is also committed to Oklahoma, and he's like the number
Oklahoma's working the area hard.
They are working the area hard. So it's kind of interesting that Rivers is the number 4 quarterback nationally. McNeil is the number 6 linebacker nationally. And Scott is the number 11 safety nationally.
Wow, that's impressive talent. Now is Rivers is Coach Rivers, Philip Rivers, is he reloading another one of his sons is the next quarterback out there at St. Michael? Yeah. So he's got another one that's coming in,
He's got another one coming up. That's going to be a freshman this year, I think.
Yeah. So there's a chance, just an outside chance, like 10 years from now, we could have like a few Rivers quarterback in the NFL.
We could have grandsons of him playing there. I mean, they were already.
Yeah, he's
it's amazing.
He's pumping out some talent over there.
There's a lot of Rivers over in.
And then we also talking about football recruits. We had a local guy commit to South
Fairhope's Gus Faulkner. He's a defensive back now at Fairhope, but he projects, he's 6'2", 215.
Okay.
He projects as a linebacker at college, turned down 3 or 4 other schools to go to South. South now has 4 commits for the 2027. It's more difficult. I mean, Alabama, Auburn, those schools are going to have 15, 16, 20 by now. The mid-majors usually have to wait till that wave kind of goes through before their numbers increase. So it'll be interesting these next couple of months to see what happens.
And then we've got also, speaking of South, they named a building after Joel Erdman, right?
They did. His last day on the job was May 31st, and then he stepped into retirement, and as a gift to him from the university, they are renaming the athletics administration building, which is hooked on to one end of the of Hancock Whitney Stadium, that will now be named in his honor.
All right, very nice. And then in other sporting news locally, the naming of the hockey team is coming pretty soon here. And Kyle, you had a little bit of a scoop, perhaps some look into what the name may be. At least a clue, right?
Yes, we do have a clue. So it's been hush-hush as to what the name is going to be until June 16th when they unveil the team name after the runoff in the middle of the Sports Hall of Fame.
After garbage
at the same
day.
time, after the trash is
taken out.
After all of this, they're going to reveal the team name. But we found, because the trademarks are available online, the patent office has their record online, you can see that the company that's going to run the hockey team in Mobile has acquired the name Mobile Mystics, which means
Sounds like it used to be with
MYSTICKS.
So Azalea Trailblades did not. Did you look that up?
I did not see
the leprechaun.
I don't think you looked it up.
I did not see where the hockey people had bought any other trademark.
You didn't. Just say you didn't look it up, okay? Quit trying to lawyer your way around that question.
Well, because I looked up the name of the owners, and you could see what was owned. It could still be out there. They could say after the naming contest, they could say, "Well, we're going to put in an application now for it." But as of right now, they only own the Mystics, the Mobile Mystics, and the various flavors.
So it's looking at least like that. The indications may be that possibly is going to be the name. So
now would be the time to pull out your old Mystics gear.
Mystic stuff out. We're ready for a revamp of the Mystics. Is that going to? Do you think that is a good move to go back to that?
It's been very popular. I mean, a lot of people really wanted to keep the Mystics name.
Yeah. The mayor loves it. He's got hats and shirts.
Yeah,
and now he can keep them. Unless they change the logo a little bit.
They might.
I wouldn't,
because they could still file the application for the Trailblades or the Leprechauns. They could say they're going to do that.
Well, all right. Well, we'll find out soon enough, but it's good. A little bit of sneak peek reporting there on that. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk just a little bit more on the third session. And we are back. Grant, you got a couple of court cases this week that are, I think, of particular interest to folks. What's happening?
Yeah, so Carrie Meredith is back in court after appealing her conviction.
Remind everybody who she is.
She was a Faith Academy counselor who was convicted in district court of failing to report sexual misconduct between a student and Coach Sowers.
Right.
And she is back in court. They had opening arguments yesterday afternoon, which was Tuesday, and they're going through a whole new trial. So they'll be
a lot of strong feelings about this one, man. I mean, that's one I've had a lot of people who just feel really strongly that she got railroaded on this deal.
Yeah, well, the other side certainly. The other side, the DA's office believes that she white lied her way into ignoring the facts of the case, and a month later, little Miss Mackenzie is walking down the road and tells a cop she just had relations with the football coach.
Yeah.
Soccer.
I call it soccer
yes,
coach.
Do not besmirch the football coach. The soccer coach, the former soccer coach.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. So, all right, we got that going on, and then of course the other big, I think it was soccer. Let's be sure. Some sort of coach. Let's just.
Sorry, Tommy.
And then the other big one this week is the preliminary hearings for
William Graham Oliver, who is accused of killing 4 people, one of which was an unborn child, at a home in Wilmer earlier this year. That one, there's a lot of hard feelings around that case, too.
Obviously.
The defense attorney has come out and said that the prosecution has, quote unquote, a lot of explaining to do on how, this one man could have broken in, tied up 3 people and murdered them all. And the DA's office and the sheriff's office are both very adamant that this is the only suspect in the case. And that was the last update anyone was given on the record. They've been pretty tight-lipped about it since. And in about an hour, we're going to find out a lot more about it.
Okay. Well, there's going to be some interesting stuff. And then also this, Kyle, some excitement down at City Hall in the realm of the scooters. They actually did something with the scooters.
That's right. We have approved the plan we discussed last week to lower the speed limit on the scooters. We're going to corral them every day. All kinds of great stuff to curb the scooters.
They went to Gaspa this week on the scooter.
Because they put a governor on the scooters.
They put a governor on the scooters.
And now we got a governor. Where is Kay Ivey? She's doing laps around the square and on a scooter.
Then also this week, there's the kickoff of the blight plan here, the blight list, right?
That's right.
And that is
the blight list.
They kicked off with a bit of a whimper here. Nobody signed up for it, and as you've talked about it in your story this week, that you're not really going to see anything on this for maybe close to a year.
Yeah, not until, the early part of 2027 is when we could start to see some changes made to how downtown looks, but
maybe. But you got to have some pretty please letters that go out first.
That's right.
And then
there's 6 months.
Then you got to have a not so pretty please letter that goes out and says you got to join this list.
Yeah.
And then there's potential for them to argue that they do not have a vacant building of some sort.
That's right. There's all kinds of exemptions.
And then there's another 6-month wait in there somewhere for something to actually have to happen.
And don't forget the possibility that a lawsuit could be filed.
Right.
And of course, there's the avenue to appeal being put on the blight list. So, hopefully, like the mayor hopes that we'll get to see downtown looking better and more buildings in use. Hopefully that will result here, and hopefully we'll start to see that soon. But we have a very drawn out timeline for this to take place.
And then
it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Yes, we'll see. When it's not nothing, I'll be excited. And then on the cover this week, we've got Darwin Singleton. He's retired.
He is, as of right now, retired. You can probably see him kicked back by his koi pond, as we have depicted on the cover.
He's a broadcasting legend around here, and it's an interesting one to see him go. It's hard to see him go. I guess that means I'm getting pretty old too. So
my favorite Darwin story is when he one time thought that I was Ben Raines.
Yes,
at an Africa Town thing, and he tried to get me on camera as Ben Raines. Yeah, put me in a chokehold as Ben Raines.
You should have got on there and just talked crazy, and then just let him.
The next time I'm going to go on camera as whoever these people think I am.
Just said, I was out there throwing garbage out in the Delta and whatever. I saw this alligator and shot him, and just kind of go crazy and let him just run that as Ben Raines.
Folks didn't look beneath the water for the Clotilda, but I did. So there it was.
There it is. But it's
Darwin's a great guy.
Congratulations to Darwin.
Salute to Darwin.
It's a really nice story. And that's all we have this week, folks, for the Lagna Pod. Come back and check with us next Thursday. Lots going on. See you then. Bye. Welcome to this week's episode of Lagnapod. I'm your host, Rob Holbert, and here with me today,
Ashley Trice.
Grant McLaughlin.
Scott Johnson.
Kyle Hamrick.
Tommy Hicks.
we have a full house. Okay. Scott, you have been working hard on all of this Tommy Tuberville, where does he live stuff over the last week or so, and have found some pretty interesting stuff. What's the latest on all that?
Yeah, I got public records from the Lee County Commission office in Opelika, which is Auburn.
Yes.
Yes. I requested the county exemption, property tax exemption records for the applications on those.
On his house there,
Yeah.
Cherry Street house, right?
Yeah, one bathroom, 2,500 square foot, 1,500 square foot house there near the university. Now we've known that he's owned this house, or his family has owned this house since 2017.
Right.
We've known that it was only his son Tucker and his wife that were on the deed until 2024. So the records I got from the Lee County Revenue Commission's office is that it showed that it was not his wife who signed for the tax exemption. It was his son Tucker who signed for that.
So when you go for this exemption, when you go for your homestead exemption, you have to apply in person, correct?
Yeah, it's you can only put it on one piece of property.
Right.
For single family homes, basically.
Generally, that's considered where people live.
Yeah.
Most people are going to say you can't have it on multiple houses, and they're usually going to put it on the house they live in. It helps reduce the property tax. And in this case, there was what I guess others had reported earlier was that there was a Thomas Tuberville on there, and they said, well, that kind of puts it to rest. He's got a homestead exemption on this house and has had it since whenever.
Yeah, there was multiple articles where they were pointing to that homestead exemption.
And Tuberville, Tommy Tuberville agreed to that as well. Said, yes, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. I'm good to go.
It shows my residence. And for those who aren't familiar, there's a 7-year residency requirement for governor. So from the date of election. So if he wants to run for governor in this year, November 2026, he needs to have established a primary residence, which would have been
before
November 2019.
Right.
So yeah, that would matter because he wasn't on the deed until later.
But what you found out was that the Thomas Tuberville on there is his son Holly.
His son
Tucker.
Yes.
Sorry, he's Holly. His son Tucker.
Yes.
Tucker is the one who signed
and that was not changed until he was added to the deed.
Right.
He actually applied for a different kind of homestead exemption, which people 65 or older can apply for. Yeah. So, and it's kind of what you suspected. I was suspecting to see Tucker's signature there. At the same time in 2018, both him and his wife claimed a homestead exemption in Santa Rosa County, Florida, where they voted, and that was without question their residence even during 2018.
And the state of Alabama would not have allowed his wife to have a homestead exemption on that home, even though her name is on it.
Yes.
She scratched out spouse and put mom.
Yeah. She also listed their lake house. Do you own any other property? She listed lake house.
Yeah.
Which should have negated it if it was connected to her, because you can't have two. But clearly it was Tucker's, and that's what we.
Yeah. So the other part of it, that at this point you've done. I mean, honestly, you've done more reporting on this than anybody else in the state. I have come to the absolute conclusion at this point that Tuberville doesn't have anything that shows that he lived there prior to 2019, to that date in 2019 that he was there.
And if he does, he's not shown it. So there's opportunities for him to show state income tax records, or show us his driver's license. I forwarded a clip to some of you guys over the weekend. Where the conservative commentator was talking back in how he was raising this issue in 2019, and very, he's a Tommy Tuberville supporter. He said the senator wouldn't show him his driver's license then.
Right.
So lots of opportunities to show it, and I'm sure this is this isn't going to get me not elected. That's where the kind of attitude I'm sure that he's looking at this as is we're not going to address it because really it's not going to have any kind of weight on whether or not to get votes or not.
I think it will. I think it will. But I think the thing that we're not doing it because we're trying to get Tommy Tuberville not elected or anything. It's just our job to verify these things. And, unfortunately, a lot of the other media in the state aren't really going to do it. And you're doing it. And, as I wrote in my column this week, I am at this point just convinced that by the preponderance of the evidence that there's nothing that shows that he lived there. And there's a lot of stuff that shows that he was still using his address in Florida as his primary address long after
routinely
after the 19th. So
Yep.
you've got other he's signed legal documents in Florida for other properties using that. It's just and he's avoided other circumstances where he could have used that address and hasn't done it.
Yeah, if the listeners haven't viewed the other articles we've done, I've looked at his Senate travel expense records and his campaign finance expense records. One showing that his travel disclosed in the Senate. There's very voluminous records of him continuously traveling to Florida during Senate work breaks. Especially
and he's getting paid back by the taxpayers for flying to Florida, which if that is his vacation home, he shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's not supposed to be doing it at all. If he's flying home, if he lives in Alabama, I mean, the way it works in Congress is that if you're flying home, you are typically doing work at home. You're doing something at home.
Yeah.
When you go on vacation, you don't get reimbursed for going on vacation.
And he's doing a lot of that in the records, but there's always a stop in Florida. There's always in 2023, there was numerous trips where it was just trips to Florida. So it's interesting. He hasn't responded to any of the questions concerning that.
I mean, I think at this point, you've laid it out there. I think that people can make their decision on it, if they care or not. My feeling as I wrote this week is the reason it does matter is because when we do these stories pretty often, these types of stories that somebody doesn't live where they say they're going to live that wants to run for office.
Recently, too.
And we did one last year in District 2. We did several of them. We've done, I don't even know how many over the last 24 years that I've been working here. City councilman,
crazy ones,
the county commissioner who lived in a tool shed, all sorts of them. I mean, we've done lots of them. And this is, unfortunately, it's left up to media to do this because nobody at the state will vet these things. Nobody says this is, there should be somebody that just says, like, okay, you got to show me this documentation, not the political parties, because the political parties are going to let in whoever they think can win.
Yeah.
And that's where we are with this. If it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter to you. If it does, it does. If you are concerned with somebody starting their political career as governor with a lie, then I think it's concerning.
And it's also important to remember that not every office has the same requirements. There's, Senate is not the same requirement as governor, and city councilman is not the same as the mayor.
Right. And that's why this didn't come up as much when he ran for Senate. It was, people said, hey, he lives in Florida, but he was able to meet the residency requirements because all he had to do is say, this is my house, and yet he got his homestead exemption, moved over there, and that was enough.
Right.
This is totally different animal, and people still don't want to understand that, but it says 7 years. They should change the law if they don't want it to be that way, but that's what the law is right now. So it's a good story. There's lots of information out there. I think you've done a tremendous job on it and found a lot of great stuff.
My eyes are burning from looking at all this stuff.
Sure. Kyle, this week you've got the cover story on some economics in the city, where Mobile is at this point, and there's a little bit of back and forth about are we on fire in a good way, or are we smoldering in kind of a not as great way?
On fire in a bad way. Well, it's up to the readers to decide kind of what they think of where we are. I talked to this one guy, Jay Hawkins. He works for PNC. He was blowing into town.
Bank. Yeah.
PNC Bank. He was blowing into town for a event, and he was like, hey, do you want to ask me about how the economy goes?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, we'll see what you think. And he said, well, it's not good.
Yeah.
That's how he started it. And then for the next 15 minutes, he just said, this is down. This is down. The factories are too bloated. The manufacturing sector is not strong enough to offset the other problems in the economy. And I said, well, I'm going to have to get a second opinion, third opinion on this. The Mobile Chamber.
So Bradley Byrne was there listening to him speak, as a matter of fact. And you interviewed Bradley, the head of the chamber. And Bradley says he could barely keep himself in his seat because he wanted to jump up and tell the guy you're wrong.
Yeah. Right in the middle of this thing. He said that the economy is great. We're all doing so well. The manufacturing is awesome. Sure, we need to diversify things more, but
I think in all fairness, Bradley said. I think in all fairness, he says we need more, but he said we're doing very well at this time.
Right. He did not share the view of Jay Hawkins that Mobile would be an underperformer for the entire South.
I think if you were looking at these two guys in a literary context, one is Eeyore and the other is Pollyanna. There's
or Tigger.
Or it may be Tigger. Yeah, there's if you're going from the Winnie the Pooh thing, but there's and then you've got your third guy you talked to is a economist out at South, and he's sort of in between.
He's a mix of both of them. He said, we're doing well. The manufacturing is great, but we absolutely do need to get more kinds of businesses here because the economy can't grow off of just Airbus and Austal. We need to get people to come back here to stay after school, and
they argue
some
that
diversity is needed.
Both of the economists are saying, hey, you guys are too too manufacturing is too much of a crutch here. It's too much. Right. You're too dependent on manufacturing, which, I know that there's always this focus that we need more manufacturing. But in their regard, Mobile has plenty of manufacturing.
Right.
And we need to be looking at other things like technology, more medical, more banking. That's one area that he said we were really lacking in is banking. But Bradley says we got more banks than we've ever had.
He's
building a brand new one down the street.
He says he has a hard time keeping up with all the banks that we have here.
Yeah. So there's definitely a tale of two cities, but it's the same city here. Going back to the more literary stuff, but it's
same city, different fire.
I'm reading that book right now.
Okay, good. Does it talk anything about the economy? No,
I'm just no.
That's set in the French Revolution, I think.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to understand.
They didn't have very many banks at that point either.
They had some other things
they were
trying
issues
to figure out.
It's hard enough just to read the sentences. I'm like, got to interpret every single.
Yeah. This is it's a good story. I think folks can check it out and kind of judge for yourself. I know if you've got as somebody who has a son who is 23 years old and graduated college and wants to come back here, but he has a hard time thinking about something that he would want to do here that is in his field. So there
is a real problem.
There are some things that maybe need to expand a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk a little sports with Tommy Hicks.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Some Pulse Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.